I appreciate about you. You're a natural. I've noticed you're a natural optimist. Like for example, I saw one of your tweets like 6 days ago. I think Christian, shout out to Christian Darton. He said, "What's going to be the first $5 trillion company?" And you tweeted under maybe it's Darton's. And it's just like the level of optimism you have to be
Yeah.
like, maybe it could be you. I think you're one of those people that can instill that confidence, not from a delusional sense, but it's like, why
Yeah, yeah.
can't you be? Like, this is how the way the world is working. There are multi-billion-dollar media companies. Why can't there be like you get people to think so deeply about what the possibilities could be, and if you aim for the stars and you land on the moon, I mean, you could make some real noise in the world, you know?
I'm a really lucky guy because I listen to my kids and I hear the way they look at the world, and they don't look at the world as the things that are wrong with it. They look at it for the opportunity it presents to them. And I think that at some point, life can get really tough, and bills and finances and your job and your relationships, they bear down on you and they bear down on you, they bear down on you. And your bubble starts to get so small that you have to push yourself out of the bubble once in a while and be like, wow, things are actually really great. We're doing amazing things. And if you spend your whole life just looking at social media and flicking through TikTok for 3 hours a day, it's a very dystopian view of the world, when the reality is that's not the case at all. It's
Yeah.
not at all. I mean, I live in a tiny state in Massachusetts, okay? But I can drive an hour or two west and be nothing but green pastures and mountains. I mean, think about how insane that is. Like we forget that we live in cities, but you can leave the cities. We forget that we live inside of TikTok, but you can leave TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think that my premise of why I decided to start doing more on like a YouTube or a Twitter is not because I have anything to sell anyone. I don't ask anyone for anything. I literally have nothing to sell, quite literally. Nor will I probably ever. It's just because there has to be some people out there who are like, hey, guess what? Not everything's terrible. Hey, guess what? Someone gets rid of 10K of debt, your life is still okay tomorrow. Like your suffering does not have to be a reflection of someone else's suffering. Um,
And the good thing is, someone who's offering that optimism, they tend to have a lot of things come back at them. Because if Aldia does really well, if Aldia does well one day or Darntons does well, me and Christian are going to remember that someone was supporting us when really no one knew about us. And there's going to be opportunities coming your way just because you want to do good to people that cared in the beginning. Not because they even like the idea or you, it's just because they felt optimism and they had a respect for people who had the courage to do. And I think that's
you,
the person that you are, you know?
I really appreciate that. And I think I can sum it up real simple. I, as unrealistic as it sometimes probably will sound, I really believe that everyone has the capacity to be an amazing version of themselves. And all it really takes is for someone to help them get there sometimes. And sometimes it's as simple as a reasonable voice saying, hey, here's the 2 steps you should take to start. And sometimes it means telling them things they don't want to hear because it's going to require actually doing something
Yep.
or not complaining for 25 minutes. But you know what? Sometimes that's the way it has to be. I'll tell you a really quick story here, and then I'll let you go because I'll talk to you all night. Um, I mentor a guy I work with, and the first time we met, we didn't know each other. We were on a really tough customer call situation, and he was like, "My God, man," he was like, "I was listening to you," and he's like, "You had a room of executives just like every word you said, they were like, yes, that's what I want to do. Yes, I love your vision. Yes." And he's like, I'm sitting there and I was like, I have to go after this guy. What am I going to do? And the whole time he was talking, I kept sending him messages like, dude, you're so good at your job. You're crushing this. You're really delivering the message you think you're delivering. And afterwards, he was like, holy crap, man, I've never worked with another person who wasn't trying to like push me out of the way so they could get in front.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a big difference is that if
That's the
you're,
difference between a leader and
I
someone
was
who's
just
not.
gonna, yeah, and like, and the thing too is we can all do more for each other without spending a dime or taking more than 30 seconds to say something nice.
Yeah.
And you never know the kind of day someone's having. You never know what's going on in their life. You never know how tough things are. But it doesn't stop you from saying something nice. And I don't care. So people can make fun of this and they can say whatever they want and like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. But I'm telling you, man, like, my father's blind. Okay. You want to talk about a tough life? Try living in the modern world and being blind. Okay. Riddled with cancer. Literally. I mean, the guy is in real bad shape. And you know what he does? All he ever says is like, "Yeah, I'm great." I mean, are you kidding me? I get to be with, I've got great grandkids, and like he means it. He's a tough son of a gun. He's never in my entire life I've never heard the man complain working 80, 90 hours a week. We were in low income housing when we were kids.
Mm.
Um, Never once heard a complaint. Never once heard a complaint. And that's why I just never learned to be a complainer, because I remember thinking, as an example, at Christmas time, I know we're way off topic now, but I'll end with this. I remember thinking at Christmas time, how could I be so lucky to get so much? And I remember seeing other people who would get like, 3, 4, 5 times more things, but like, but it never mattered because it was just things. To me, it was like, wow, this is how much someone cares about me, that they're really going out of their way to make sure I have something.
Right.
And that general attitude is really pushed through life. And I think that this is one of the reasons why, I try to, even sometimes when I deliver the message, Amit, is like, if you can't look at it for just what it is, look at it for a benefit to you. Hey, you want to reduce your taxes? Give money to people who need it, right? St. Jude's, DFS, it could be World Wildlife, whoever or whatever thing you're passionate about, get yourself a tax reduction, but help somebody while you do it. Like, there's so many ways you can benefit yourself if you really want to, and still really benefit a lot of other people too. And a little bit goes a long, long way. And I think that it's easy to forget that sometimes. But for me, I'm only laughing because I'm just thinking like my my son is a really nice kid. I'm going away again, man. I'm taking
Oh,
away off
it's
topic.
good. This is good. I think people are gonna
Feel
love
free to
this.
cut it away, but
No,
like,
no, I'm keeping it.
one of the things we talk about all the time is the way you treat people. And no matter what, no matter where you are, no matter how the service is, no matter what's happening, you treat people with respect first, and then you treat them nice after you treat them with respect.
Yep.
And like, I go out of my way, no matter where we go. I'm talking restaurants, I'm talking like at a retail store, I'm talking, I don't even know, a coffee shop, whatever. I mean, like, I go out of my way every time to say, like, hey, is your manager here? I'd love to say something really nice about the service you provided today. And always make it a point to tell someone what a great job this person did, how they went so far above and beyond, and the value they're bringing. And like, the amount of places I leave with people with huge smiles on their face who are like, oh my God, that's really amazing. And it worked. For anyone who's watching this who's younger and you're new at your job, or you're in a workplace and you're trying to move up the ladder and you're trying to do the right thing, you want to know how you move up the ladder fast? You compliment everybody in a genuine way about a genuine thing they did for you. Every time I have a call that someone who's new helps to set up or schedule for me, I email their boss, put them on the email, and I make sure they know exactly what they did, why they did it so well, and why they're bringing value to the entire company. And things
And it
like
makes
that.
you feel better, right? Just as a
Of
human being.
course, my God, man. That's the irony of the whole thing, is it's not just about helping someone else. It's also just bringing more positivity into your world. I'm a realistic guy, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I talk about all these nice things, but I live in the real world. I have a very high stress career, but I don't let that stuff get to me, because no matter how bad things are, you can always do better. And I even do this with clients. If I have a particularly great call with a client, I'll send a note to a CEO and say, hey, you may not even be aware of this, but do you know that your managing directors are absolutely the best at what they do globally? Because I talk to everybody. And I've never once had a person go back and say, like, boy, I wish you didn't say all those nice things about me. You're right. And I think that this is the key. We live in a world of negativity and people who want to be angry. Whatever, man. My number one comment I get across social media is like, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, sure, man, no worries. Like, life is good. I'm glad you're having a great day. And this is where you just have to really have that ability to separate the fact that, like,
If someone takes the time out of their day to say something bad,
yep,
there's more empathy for them.
no greater fan than an enemy. That's what they always say.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's that in a nutshell of macroeconomics all the way down to how we treat people. And there's a big old ripple effect.
Absolutely, there is.
But anyways, what are you gonna do, right? It's our job to teach the next generation how to be good people and make sure there's always another person to teach the next person in line. Because if you aren't, it's going to make for a very tough place, an unenjoyable world to live in. And I think, and I genuinely mean that 99% of people out there are really, really good people who are at times struggling, but mean well in everything they do. And I think the more we can bring that message forward, the better it's going to be for everybody. So, yeah, you don't like it, too bad. That's the way it's going to be. So we'll amplify that message.
I love it. Thank you guys for listening and watching this episode of Not Financial Advice. I think this was a good one. We'll see you next week.
Indeed.